Continuing with our Manitoba Junior Hockey League preseason videos, we're joined with Benny Walchuk, voice of the Waywayseecappo Wolverines. Benny, thanks for doing this. Looking forward to the year for the Wolverines, coming off a disappointing finish last year. Is there a sense of unfinished business with this Wolverines club, or is it kind of a transition year where we're going to see some new players maybe try to establish themselves as MJ superstars?
Yeah, this is kind of a team up in the air right now. I know, I guess it's been a disappointing the last couple of years. I think some unfinished business. I know couple of years ago they had a strong team, they had great success in the regular season, and then kind of laid an egg during the postseason run, losing to Verdun. But I think it's a team that's retooling a little bit more with the offseason acquisitions that Taylor Harnet's made, acquiring some 20-year-olds to get in. Maybe not the notable names, but some guys that hopefully Taylor hopes that can take some next steps as 20-year-olds. Neil Kamini, Nate Goodbranson came in, Riley Guzik they've acquired as well. So it's a lot of veterans they brought in, and they just made a big splash a couple of weeks ago, getting Hayden Kaligokat from the Portage Terriers as well, one of the top scoring defensemen last season in the MJHL. So I think with those trades coming in, they do have some good returnees coming back as well. Owen Wheatley on the back end, Ben Roulette, who's been a good young player in this league as well. I think it's a retool, and I think Taylor Harnet hopefully can take a next step here with a little bit more different landscape and different structure of his lineman he's put together. Hopefully will provide some success down the run. But I think this is a team that hopefully they can contend going forward. I think they can, if they can get the good goaltending from Eric Andres, who's going to step into that number one role this year after Chester Watton elected to go to the BCHL. So it's a team that's a work in progress, like I mentioned with the Swan Valley Stampeders, but I think a team that thinks they can make a run, and with the additions they made this offseason, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, again, they're going to be a scrappy team like they normally are, and they've always started out really hot. Those points early on, September, October, while teams are finding their way, if Waywayseecappo can come in and take a few games off of other teams, especially in their own division early, that can set them up for long-term success. So this early part of the season, it's not a feeling out process for them. They need to find points.
Exactly. They need to find points, and they, like you said, they've had success. They need to translate that into later success. They've had these points in them, but when you get to December, January, February, I don't know if they make too many changes or they're just get a little tired or whatever like that. They just kind of lose traction a little bit, and it kind of costs them as they get down the stretch run into the postseason. But anytime you go to Waywayseecappo, it's you're getting for a dogfight. They can skate. They're all over you. They're physical. They're in your face. They don't care how they can win sometimes. Sometimes they play on that fine line of taking too many penalties or being undisciplined. So I think if they want to be successful, try to find that top line that could score and also get good defensively. I know they have some new coaching staff as well, with the two young guys in there to help out with Taylor Harnett after departure, Josh Lee. So it's an exciting time in Waywayseecappo. As mentioned with Swan Valley, it's a 25th anniversary as well. They're going to be unveiling some third jerseys. It's going to be great festivities as the season goes on. So it's an exciting time once again here on this anniversary season for Waywayseecappo.
And one of the teams that was maybe the most gutted after last season, they've lost all 8 of their top 8 scorers. All are gone. Their starting goaltender from last year has walked out the door. He picked up 22 wins. He's now, like you said, in the BCHL. So this is a real chance for Harnett and his staff to kind of remold this team if they didn't like where it was necessarily going. And like you said, they kind of struggled. So maybe character on and off the ice is something that Waywayseecappo is really going to focus on this year.
Yeah, it is actually. And even talking to Taylor the last couple of weeks, they usually play like preseason right up to maybe like this week heading into the opening weekend. But they'd scheduled on purpose to kind of be done early last week, kind of develop that culture a little bit more that they want to have, develop more of a structure and systems in place, maybe more than they have the past years. So I think that like you said, Dave, you're correct. They try to change things around culturally, and I also want to make sure they have more attention to detail maybe than they have the past few years, because admittedly they're a free running team. Sometimes they're up and down the ice, maybe not as much structure as they should have, but I think we'll see a much more structured Waywayseecappo Wolverines team here this year, and then we'll see if that can translate to some success here, not only early on, but as the season goes on.
Waywayseecappo has been a fascinating organization. They were, maybe at the bottom when they first started. They've worked their way up. They were kind of looked at as a top tier the last little bit. And now, from the outside looking in, you may think they're on the way down. You think they're going to relish the role of underdog? You think they're going to relish the maybe they don't, people outside in the league don't expect much from us? Do you think they're going to relish that role this year?
I think they will. Yeah, I think it's just the underdog franchise. I know, like you said, when they first started up there, maybe the rink wasn't as nice as other rinks, but the support they've got from their band and the community of Waywayseecappo has been outstanding the last number of years. And you got to give hats off to Taylor, who's done a great job of building that organization back up structurally. It was good with Barry Butler. Maybe didn't get the support they would have liked with Barry early on in the existence of the Wolverines, but Taylor's kind of got that support now. And he's running with it. And he's structurally, this is one of the most stable franchises in the Waywayseecappo. It's a great arena to play in, and but it's still an intimidating arena. So it's minus 35, 40 outs on those weekday days. I don't think a lot of teams want to come to Waywayseecappo and a play on a Tuesday or Wednesday night against a Wolverine team that's going to come at you hard, come at you very tough, be in your face. So I think they do relish that underdog role a little bit, but we'll see what happens here going forward, because I think the Wolverines, for any team from the West Division to the East Division, will be a tough out.
And, you talked about Ben Roulette, who's got some scoring prowess as well. He's got 5 points in 4 preseason games. Luke McCarthy, 5 points in 3 games as well. Do you like the fact they're handing the keys to the offense to the younger guys and kind of developing them as Wolverines going forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's great for the organization going forward to get those young guys going. But I think they, with the trades there, they kind of insulated those young guys with some of these older guys like the Rylan Kuziks, the Neo Kaminis, Nate Bransons, and so on and so forth up front. And then on the back end, I think they're strong. Like you said, Hayden Lequette they picked up from Portage. They have Gary Napperly. They have Owen Wheatley on the back end to support them as well. I think the big thing is going to be special teams. That's why they got up and get a guy like Hayden Lequette to control their power play a little bit more and see if they can have more success on that. So I think Ben Roulette is a guy that's really under the radar. Great guy, has had some time. I know he went to camp with the Red Deer Rebels, but it's a guy from around the area, just down the road in Rivers, not too far away from Waywayseecappo, that can come in there and chip in offensively. I think Ben Roulette is an underdog guy that'd be one of the top scorers in the entire MJHL.
We talked about, getting some points early on and how important those are going to be. You think about last year and what Verdun was able to do in the back half of Christmas. That's going to give a lot of teams hope, and they're going to be looking at, making runs throughout. You see as Waywayseecappo's being that team that's going to have to go on a sustained run at some point if they want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you said, I think they're going to have a good start. I think they're going to be right in the thick of things. I think they'll be probably middle of the pack in that division. But like you said, if they go on that run and they get the goaltending from Merrick Andres, they hope they can get here as the season goes on. I think it'll be a team that definitely will be in the running for that divisional title going forward. But we'll see if it's the structure and if they can sustain it like later in the season, like they have not the last number of seasons. So I think this is a Wayway team that can be very, very dangerous, and it cannot be a tough out. I think Taylor Harnett's had some disappointment in the playoffs and down the stretch here the last number of years. And I think this is the year that Taylor wants to get over that hump and advance on to at least around number 2 of the playoffs and contend for an MJHL Final Four appearance and ultimately an MJHL title, which is always the goal of any MJHL team.